हमारे साथ यहाँ चेयरमैन इंडियन मर्चेंट्स चैम्बर के निरंजन हीरानंदानी जी मौजूद हैं। हम उनका भी भारतीय छात्र संसद के मंच पर हार्दिक स्वागत और अभिनंदन करते हैं।
Friends, I'm feeling very, very privileged, very, very honored, and I have to thank Vishwanath Ji Kharad for creating such an institution which is second to none in the entire world. My congratulations to you, sir. Rahul Ji, thank you very much for the invitation. I'm also very, very privileged to share platforms with Swami Sukhabandanda, who is really an enlightened person, Pandit Vasant Gadgil Ji, whose Sanskrit is beyond my understanding, but his knowledge and wisdom is far beyond what we can really see. We have also Professor Dr. Deka, right from Kolkata, the Vice Chancellor, and I think his points had really come out extremely beautifully. Vibrant corporate India, vibrant India, and leadership. I think there is no issue that India shines out. Indians shine out. And you, the youth of people of this country, shine out even better than everybody else in the world, and I will prove it to you. In America, about 30, 40 years ago, when I used to go there, the doctors and engineers in most of the places came from India, a large number of them, and they were respected for their knowledge and wisdom. After many, many years, we came and found out that the IT and knowledge capital is not with the Americans, but even in a place like Microsoft, in a place like NASA, almost 20% of the people there were engineers either of Indians or Indian origin. So my friends, congratulations to you. This difference which has made, but we deteriorated somewhere down the way. And about 25, 30 years ago, when I went to America, I went to New York, and there was a meeting there of financial heads. And they asked me where was I from, and I said, I came from India. And people said, oh, he's an Indian. He's a second-class person, not so rich, not so clever. 2 years ago, I again went to America, and we had to raise for one of our corporates $750 million US. And they said, you are so clever, you are so great, and your country is so great, we will give you this $750 million US because you are the leader of this world. You are the people who can do so much. You have been very kind, sirs, of honoring me here, showing off what I have done. But let me share with the youth who are sitting here and also listening to what I have to say. My daughter, she was 23. She did her chartered accountancy and decided that she doesn't want to work for me because mine is an unprofessional organization. All daughters are entitled to say that to the father. So I asked her what she wanted to do, and she said, I want to put up, after some time and the usual stories between father and daughter, she said, I want to set up a call center. So I said, call center at that time? And she's now 35. That time she was 23. And I asked her, what is a call center? I didn't know what a call center was. And she explained me what a call center was. And I said, oh, telephone operating business. She said, Papa, you will never learn. You're too old. You belong to an earlier generation. Let me do it. She was only 23 at that point of time. And she set up a call center with 14 employees. When she was 27, she sold that call center business. It was called Zenta Technologies to an American private equity firm for $100 million US at the age of 27. I want to share with you that the youth of today can do better than what we have done at our age, but we are not doing it in the political side of this country. And that's the bloody shame. Because we need that vigor, which our two MLAs are dying. They are here today. I want to congratulate you for taking those initiatives. And I think all of you must decide that we need to influence the leadership of this great country, because this is the place of Swami Vivekananda ji, the knowledge of the entire world. That was not enough. I have a son who's 5 years younger to my daughter, and he was working with me. He came back from the US after doing his engineering, and he joined me, and in 6 months he told me 100 times what I was doing wrong. He's my son, so we listen. Somebody else, I would have told him to shut up. Then I sent him to Dubai, because I said the opportunity in Dubai is good and he'd be little away from me. So he went there, and after 3 months he telephones me and says, Papa, and that's dangerous when he says Papa. He said, I want to set up a tall building, taller than your tallest building. And my tallest building at that time was 35 stories tall in Mumbai at Powai. So he asked me, and just before putting down the phone, I asked him, how tall is this tallest building? And he said, I want to build a 90-story residential tower. I said, my son, you know the tallest residential tower at that time in the entire world was 70-storied or 72 stories. And I asked him, how can you set it up? And he says, I want to build this tallest tower because nobody in the world has built it. 4 months ago, that building is completed. It is a successful completion. It is now the second tallest residential tower in the world. And he's only 29 years old. What I want to put about is that it's the faith in the young. It is the faith in the youth. And that is the missing link in the political life of India. The youth and the young is missing. Wisdom is there. We have Swami Vivekananda. We have the elders. We need the guidance from the elders, the teachers, our gurus who are sitting over here. Our leaders of today are definitely there in our country, extremely wise and great leaders. But the spark of vibrant India can only come from leadership of the youth. And I think that is the most important part of it all. I'm quoting without any remorse the fact that when I first got my first mobile phone, I had the same telephone number at that time. The mobile phone cost me 33 rupees a minute. 16 rupees 50 paisa incoming, 16 rupees 50 paisa outgoing plus STD calls. Today, the corporate world, the telecom of this country, the corporatization leadership, which was announced by Mr. Dhirubhai Ambani before he died, that we must make mobile phones cheaper than a postcard. And it is achieved because today even my driver has a separate telephone mobile, which he talks to Bihar, to his family, in the evening for less than 1 rupee a minute with the same service provider. That is vibrancy of the corporate world. The creation of the nano car is also a vibrancy of the corporate world, where it is not only the issue of this. Oh, I forgot. The telecom companies, when they were charging 33 rupees a minute, was worth $4 billion total value of corporate India in telecom. Today, that same company, which was worth less than $4 billion, is worth $40 billion because they have reduced the mobile cost and charges from 33 rupees a minute to less than 1 rupee a minute by the inclusive definition of expansion of services and creation of technology and creating inclusiveness. The corporate world's vibrancy has created an inclusive definition wherein Even my sabji wala or my fruit wala, I can pick up and say, "Aaj 2 banana bhej do, 2 apple bhej do, wo ghar mein bhej do," and that service is provided by that ferry wala who comes and delivers because of this inclusive position of that. That is the vibrancy of corporate India, which will make a change of things. So it's not only creation of wealth that is important. It is important to see that the benefits of that will go to the common person, for which technology will be important. Various investment opportunities will be important. But more important than that will be leadership. Leadership has to have an objective. Leadership has to have a destination. Leadership has to have an ideal. Leadership has to have an inclusiveness, will include all. Let me say the biggest failure in my life is that I have constructed so many buildings and I have created so much policy, whether it was the national housing policy or the slum policy. But I have failed in my life to create affordable housing for all. And that is my personal failure of corporate India and my failure, and probably the failure of government too. So corporate India, in terms of the housing segment, will have to work towards a situation where we will be able to deliver goods, yes, for the rich also, for the middle class also, but also affordable housing for the poor. It can be done. It has to be done. We need to show leadership in each and every field. That's how leadership will have to come into corporate India. Many times we think that it is only corporate India which can do. Again, I want to share with you, my friends, that that is also not true. I remember the time, probably before most of you were born, there was a prime minister by the name of Lal Bahadur Shastri. We had a drought in India in early 70s where we had to beg for food from Canada and the US. This was the first time when India could not pay for its own imports, the only time in the history of India. And after that period went over, Lal Bahadur Shastri coined a slogan, Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan, through illiterate farmers of India. But his leadership and his thought process, in 2 years' time, India created surpluses in food through illiterate farmers, no communication of TV and other things. And from then till today, India has never begged for food from any country. We have bought some deficiency in food, but we never had to beg for food in the value and quantity that we did. Subsequently, we did the telecom revolution, the aviation, the TV, telecom, and other revolutions. So its governments also can do so. It is leadership, corporatization, and I'll also give you an example of corporatization of government activity. There were a couple of years ago in Maharashtra, there was two projects. One was the Mumbai-Pune Expressway. The second was the flyovers of Mumbai. The Mumbai-Pune Expressway was 1,650 crores. The Bombay-Pune road was 1,350 crores. Totally 3,000 crores were required for this project. The government was bankrupt. They didn't have any money. Finally, we created what was called the MSRDC, a corporate entity through government corporatization. And they put an equity capital. Government put an equity capital of 10 crores out of the 3,000. And we created bonds which raised this money, and we built Mumbai-Pune road and flyovers of Mumbai within 5 years. So corporatization doesn't have to necessarily be the vicinity of the private sector. The government can do corporatization and create success. The private people can do inclusiveness and do cross-subsidy for the purposes of looking after the poor and the needy, and a corporate social responsibility also becomes the need of the hour. These are the ideas where I believe that you, the young, will have to make the paradigm. You, the youth, will have to make this change, and we will be intolerant of not being successful. It is necessary for us as young people to demand. You are 50%, and very soon you will be 50% of the population. We will not accept the fact that the governments of the day will not deliver these goods, because we are capable of doing it. Money is never deficit. We can corporatize it, we can securitize it. There are various ways by which both the private sector can do this success, and I'm equally at fault. The government also can do these successes, but we as the people of India need to participate in this progress. That is why this program of MIT and the vision which it creates to wake up the youth for the purposes of the future of this country is commendable. I congratulate each and every one of you for the great success, and also to the institution which is leading this initiative to wake us up all. All very best to you. May you all be as successful and more successful as India has always been. Let you be a part of the new history of the next decade. Thank you very much, and I wish you all the best.